Good evening and welcome to the Drive at 5 on IntellectualRadio.com/iHeart radio station. I'm your host, Roland. We have a terrific show planned for you today. Don't forget to stay tuned to Drive at 5. After the drive is Warriors Talk at 6 p.m. with my girl, Rochelle. So stay tuned to the Drive at 5. And all the hosts, we have a lot of information to give to you, so stay tuned to all the hosts on IntellectualRadio.com. Tonight, my guest is running for commissioner of Maywood Park District. Please give a Drive at 5 welcome to Jeff Fowler. Welcome to the Drive, sir.
Thank you for having me here.
So please give IntellectualRadio.com/iHeart radio station your background.
Ooh, it's gonna take a minute. I'm Jeff Fowler, a lifelong Maywood resident, graduate of class of 91. I know that's a long time ago. Washington Elementary, class of 95, Proviso East. The two of us, alumni, I think I made it down in 98, Columbia College. Past that, when it comes down to more of my community endeavors, for on and off for about 15 to 20 years, non-for-profit sector with PLCCA.
What that stands for?
PLCCA, oh my God, you're going to get me in trouble. Proviso Lighting. You're going to really get me in trouble by somebody with that one.
You said the acronym.
I haven't said that one in so long. You're really going to get me in trouble with that one.
Just say you're a proviso person, right?
That's actually,
you're a proviso to the heart, right?
So I'm Maywood to the heart. I am Maywood. All day Maywood, Jeff Fowler.
Okay. But however, you have a not-for-profit organization. Tell us briefly about that.
Well, my non-for-profit it's really not a non-for-profit organization. The other organization that you know of that I'm with is called Informative Services. And what we do in Informative Services, we actually teach underprivileged areas about the importance of investing in unappreciative assets.
Elaborate a little bit.
So that goes, of course, the fancy kid on the block right now are cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, but we also teach people about investing into real estate, precious metals, commodities, all the way down to foreign currencies. Just things that, we're not taught in school. Other communities are taught, other ethnic backgrounds are taught about these things, but we are not. So we bring it to the forefront and we bring it to the community.
Tell us briefly, and I know I just want to pick your brain.
Go ahead.
Trump is trying to have his own currency.
Trump does have his own currency.
He has his own Bitcoin currency.
He has his own cryptocurrency.
Tell us a little bit about that.
What it is it's what they call a meme coin. Now, what meme coins are, this is a cryptocurrency and or a coin that does not have much utility, kind of like Dogecoin was. So it's more or less a popularity grab. Anyone can make a cryptocurrency. It's not hard. It's very simple to do. But of course, those who are in the limelight, those who are stars, if you will, they can make a cryptocurrency. And when it boosts in popularity, people buy it. So let's say Jeff Fowler was to make a cryptocurrency tomorrow. We'll probably start off the sale at fractions of a penny. No one would care about me doing it. It will stay at fractions of a penny until I can show that it can do something. The president does it, and it's like, oh, it's based on him. And he's actually backing cryptos and he's opening this up for the banks and everything. So yeah, let's get on top of it. Let's try to get some of this. And little by little, in popularity, the price goes up, supply and demand. As the price goes up, you started at a fraction of a penny, you can go up to upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Can you take your money out?
Of course.
And that's it.
Pretty much that's it. You, like anything else in the stock market, you buy low, you sell high. And that's pretty much what he did.
Let's discuss Maywood Park District.
Mhm.
What is your platform as a commissioner for Maywood Park District?
Right now, the park district is in a little bit of disarray.
How so?
Our park district is trying to be enveloped by the village, if you will. And I really don't, a lot of people really don't think we don't understand why. So that would take programs out of the park district, that would take funding away from the park district, and that would stop a lot of these programs. You have senior programs, that would also, not only your senior programs, but that would do your little league programs, if you will, your Pee Wee League football, your food programs. These are a lot of things that will be taken out of our park districts. And in Maywood, we need that. We are in the middle. We are in the central hub, and all of our joining communities have very strong park districts. You can go to Bellwood Park District and you can use it as a workout center. You can have special events there. You can go there, sign your kids up for baseball, sign them up for football. There are programs there. The majority of your park districts are full of different programs and recreational activities that are allowed to the village. And a lot of this funding comes in from Cook County and from other outside entities. Now, as a commissioner, it would be my job and my duty to make sure that we keep balanced records, balanced books, and we keep bringing in more and more of these programs.
So your goal is to reorganize the ship.
Yes, as of right now, we have to reorganize the show. It is in disarray now. We actually have to put a budget together. We have to make sure we're paying employees that are there. It's been a lot of things in the disarming, if you will, of the park district that need to be fixed. First and foremost, we need to make sure we get our budget together.
On day one,
Day one.
you get elected.
Mhm.
What is the number one thing you will fix?
Our budget, get our financials together.
How you know the financials are in disarray?
Well, right now I'm still going to the park district meetings, and in the park district meetings, that's one of the bigger issues is we do not get a chance to actually finish a business meeting. For example, the meeting will start. First agenda will be to try to take care of the books, cover the books, find out why it's not being taken care of, and you may get a question from a resident who has a gripe. What makes perfect sense? It may be something like, well, I gave in a deposit for an event I want to do, and I haven't received my deposit back yet. So now the meeting is interrupted with that. And sometimes people get to the point where now we're so focused on this small problem that now someone else has their small gripe and they speak out of turn. So now we're talking over here we're talking to these two people, and we forgot the main reason why we're here is to get this budget together so that we could take care of the employees that are working, who've been actually working there now, if I'm not mistaken, for the past 2 or 3 months. No pay.
Who's the sergeant at arms that keeps order? When you have a meeting,
you're absolutely right. You're supposed to. It doesn't. No one steps up to keep everything in order, if you will.
It's a
What
free
you
for all.
have, it turns into a free for all because, like I said, now you have people directing their conversations to other entities. They're not paying. They're not in the meeting anymore. And when they try to gather everybody back into the meeting, now here comes another person who now is going to interrupt or insult someone. And once again, now we're all thrown over here. We're still not paying attention to what we need to pay attention to. We're still not getting business done at the end of the day.
So basically, you're saying it's a malversion of Dalton.
It is. That's a great way to put it. It's a mild version of what we've seen on TV and on the internet of the Dalton meetings. Correct.
How you move away from that?
My first suggestion moving away from it is to have different forums and or different meetings, if you will, to have a business meeting. And of course we have, since it is public knowledge, it has to be open to the public, but to let residents know that we will also have another meeting when it comes down to small gripes. And I say small gripes, and I know some are going to get mad about me saying small gripes, but in the big scheme of things, the fact that you didn't like what was served for lunch, or you don't like that a certain person is still working here, is a smaller gripe when it comes down to getting the budget together for the park district for the entire village. And I think it needs to be more than one meeting, more than one arena, if you will, so that you can air your gripes, and it's fine, and they need to be taken care of. But when we're conducting business and we're trying to get a business meeting done to actually keep the lights on, that sets precedence.
You mentioned about the budget and how the budget seems like it's all over the place.
Mhm.
It needs to be more organized. That includes the meeting as well.
True.
Here's the however component. The however component is, if you're the commissioner, you said the first priority will be the budget.
Mhm.
What is the budget for Maywood's Park District? Do you know the amount or a ballpark figure?
It's not so much, when it comes down to the budget, an actual figure. What it is that the park district is behind in reporting their budget. So they're put on what you call a do not pay list. So when you have grants coming in from the state and you have programs that want to give money to you, they cannot, because you don't have your financials put together for a certain amount of time. You have to show your financials first for them to say, okay, we see what you're doing, we see how you're spending, now we can release the cash to you. But those have not been done because meetings have not been completed. Meetings have stopped.
Totally.
You might as well say they have, because now, once again, we're thrown off here. Now we're worried about this person. Now this person says something. Now we're worried about that. Now we're worried about, well, none of you all know what you're doing, and blah, blah, blah. So now that's, like I said, now that's when the insult comes to the board, and now someone on the board wants to address that. And once again, we're not conducting business. We're having more personal conversations, if you will, or we're trying to, what's the best word for me to use? We're trying to rebuttal a personal attack against us, as opposed to just taking care of business.
Will there be a business plan, a 100-day forecast of the Maywood Park District?
Most definitely, that will be one of the first things that, when myself and other commissioners, when we have our new board put together, we have to do it. We have to put it in play as soon as possible, or we could lose the Maywood Park District.
So you're basically saying that because of the so-called lollygagging that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
the Maywood Park District might be in jeopardy.
It is definitely, it could be in jeopardy. There, like any other form of government, there was a little bit of, what's the best way to put it? There was a little corruption going on, a little money came up missing at one point in time. So therefore, they had to put a new regime in play. And in putting a new regime in play, when you find the bad apple and you've gotten rid of the bad apple, but now you have other entities that at one point in time would work with you. Now they don't want to work with you. No one wants to cooperate with each other. Everybody, well, I think I have the best plan to do it, so I'm going to do it this way. Well, no, I think my plan is better. Well, we got the bad apple out, so come on, everybody work with us, but we don't know if we want to work with you right now. And it's going back and forth and then going back and forth. Our financials have not been done. The books have not been done. They've been put on the do not pay list. Like I said, as of right now, you have people who have been working there for a few months, no pay. if not for events being thrown at the park district, I'm not sure the lights would be on.
Let's talk about the environment,
Mhm.
Maywood Park District. Is it old? You're dealing with historical.
True.
When you go inside, and I do this on purpose,
Mhm.
you go inside, let's say Oak Park District. Soon as you hit that door, you feel the air, you feel the heat, you see everything organized, a
Mhm.
lot of space, a lot. It it feels welcoming.
Exactly.
I'm only going to go to Chicago, not Maywood, Chicago. When you get into Chicago, you like, oh my God, seriously? Seriously? Cracks in the foundation. You see, you go to the bathroom and it's like, why?
Now, our facility is not like that at all, but I understand exactly what you're talking about. But even with our facility, I mean, yes, when you will use Oak Park, when you go to Oak Park, as soon as you walk into their park district, you have your paraphernalia, if you will, of each class that's going on. You have your pamphlet of the different classes that we are offering in our schedule and what we have going on. You have people trying to sign you up for these different things. You can do anything from Zumba to nature walks. Everything is there, everything is set up. It's your recreational hub of your township. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. When it comes down to, of course, the biggest groups that use the park district are usually our seniors and the kids. So yes, when seniors come in, yes, they want it to be welcoming. Yes, they want to know of the different programs that are going on. Yes, what's the senior club? Yes, does the senior club do trips? If they do trips, where do they go? Do they have brunches? Do they have luncheons? Things of this nature, so that we can keep our seniors engaged. Same thing with the kids. You move into a new area. I don't know what's out here. I don't know what's going on for my kid. Okay, where's my open gym? Where are my different teams that my youth can sign up for? What are the programs? Is there after school program? Can they sign up for it? Is there a coding program? How many programs are here to keep my child busy and out of trouble? You're right. That's how a park district is supposed to look when you walk into it. It's supposed to be inviting. It's supposed to be a hub of help.
How would you change that?
Everything I just said, pretty much. I mean, now in our facility now, yes, they do have their bulletin boards up and they do have their publications where you can see the different activities that are offered. It is there. The problem is on the backside of it, everything is not being taken care of the way it should be when it goes back to the financials. So now, once finances start dwindling, now we can't offer programs. We don't have the money to offer programs for kids, which is terrible. We don't have the money to offer programs to our seniors, which is terrible. We don't want that. And I don't want to make it sound like everything is terrible in Maywood. For the past, if I'm not mistaken, year, and this is not by my efforts at all, this is for the regime that is already working on the park district. They have gone as far as to do what they call a wind down Wednesday. And it's a day in the park, live music, food vendors, you have your seniors, you have your middle-aged people, everybody's coming together. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time because it's a small village. It's 21 blocks. We all know each other. You don't know everybody. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. So it's almost like a family reunion. We're all out in the park. We're having a great time. We need more things like this. On one hand, it sounds like it's all gray and dismal, but there are programming that's program that is going on. There are great things that are going on. It's just that we don't want them to stop. We don't need them to stop. And if we don't take care of this problem, they will stop.
Let's say I have a son,
Okay.
and my son is, you know, uh, little Roman running around Maywood. What would you tell me as a parent that I see what Maywood is doing? I
Mhm.
kind of like what Maywood Park District is doing. Convince me otherwise. You said budget or something like that, right?
Mhm.
Money, funding the programs.
Mhm.
Okay, you said that to me, but I really don't know anything about that. How can you convince me to switch my vote to vote for you?
To vote for me as a park district commissioner,
Yes.
I would have to just go on my background and the fact that I have been in the non-for-profit sector on and off for between 20 and 15 years. We've done after school programs, we've done mentoring programs. I say we, and I mean the other organizations I've worked with, mentoring programs, cleanup programs, if you will, for the village. And the fact that we're trying to make sure we have these things in order. If you have a young child, what are your child's interests? Do they have any interests? Are they into sports? If they're into sports, we have our little league teams they can look into. Do they like to just have recreational time? They just like to play basketball with their friends. Okay. We have basketball courts. We'll let you know what parks they're in. What do you want them to be into? Do you want them to learn about camping? Not a problem. Park District is through Cook County. Cook County has programs to teach underprivileged youth about camping and take them on camping trips. Maybe this is something some parents don't have the time to do it, or they don't have the resources. They just don't know it's available to them. And we would sit down and we would go through the list to find out what it is that your child needs, what your child wants, what you want for your child. We put it together. We make a program together for him. We would actually have him set up. Okay, school ends at this time. How are they with the grades? They okay with the grades? He needs a little help. Come up into the park district after school. We'll have somebody that can help him with whatever subject it is, because we have a after school program set up. Okay, he's done with that. What is he going to do? Because a lot of parents work crazy hours. They're not home when their kids get out of school. Okay, so now what do I do? Okay, well, we have a program, an after school program, if you will. Not so much a tutoring program, but it's an aspect of it. But now your child is here at the park district. Maybe they're in the park. Maybe they're learning gardening. Who knows? Maybe they're in a coding class. Who knows? But they have an after school activity or an extracurricular activity to do. And that's just saying if they're not into sports. If they're into sports, okay, we have our little league football teams, if you will. We have two of them for them to be in. And the more funding we have, the more programs we can add to this list. The more we add to this list, the more we can give out to kids.
What programs would you add to that list?
Wow. And I can only speak now I'm speaking as a parent because I've had a child who has done a little bit of everything. You have
Besides sports.
besides sports.
Besides sports.
Okay, coding. Coding is a big thing. We know coding is a career path nowadays. Coding classes for youth. Knowing about the world around you, gardening classes, learning how to literally go in your backyard and you can grow your own food. It's very simple. You can do anything. It can go down to just etiquette, etiquette classes. Some parents want their kids to have better etiquette, and some kids they don't understand because they're just not taught it. And it's like, okay, well, this is how I'm supposed to act when I'm out and about. Like, this is how you're supposed to act. This is how you're supposed to respond to certain questions. This is how you sit at a table. This is how you start with your silverware when it comes to the table, outside to inside. Things that's not known. Keep going up into high school, resume building. You're going to start looking for a job soon. We have classes to help you learn how to write a resume, how to actually talk in an interview, how to dress for this interview. The list can go on and on of different things that we could offer. We just have to make sure those doors stay open and that funding comes in so that we can offer it. We can come up with programs all day long for kids, especially our kids. They need a little bit of everything. Even when it comes back down to my other organization, like I said earlier, we're not taught about financials in school. That's not a class that's given. No, I have no idea what money is. That could be a class that's given. That could be a class that the student and the parent could be in there together, both learning about it. The parent needs to understand what it is now, and it's gonna be the future of money for that child.
In today's society, 9 times out of 10, people in our age bracket, not saying you, but in our age bracket and lower, don't know how to write a check.
Exactly. They have no, I'm not going to say they have no financial literacy, but they have very little financial literacy, just the basics. And especially not, like you said, writing a check, no, because everybody swipes a card now. You swipe a card, you give them your numbers over the phone. That's it. You're right. They could not balance a checkbook because, quote unquote, the bank does it for them now with their debit card. Right.
What would you recommend to a parent now going through the situations that they are going through right now? Right now, internet is raising their children. You hear all the time stories about children literally beating up their parents because they took away their iPhone, their iPad, killing them. One story about their iPad. Internet raising children, going for a commissioner. You mentioned coding, part of the internet.
True.
How would you
That would
keep
be
a balance of that?
That would be a situation where, just like I said earlier, we would have the biggest factors would be the seniors and our youth, but and you could see this in a lot of different park districts that they actually do offer parenting classes for parents. Because see, that's more of a home thing. It's not so much us as the park district, but that would be something that you would have to learn at home, especially with those specific situations you gave. That almost sounds more of a soft parenting or non-parenting, if you will. Just I'll sit you in front of your iPad and you do what you do. And sometimes we live in a busy society and people are so focused on money that they don't slow down to understand that you have to actually raise your child. You can't just maintain your child. Just because you buy Jordans and they eat crab boils don't make you a good parent. That means you still need help parenting, especially if you've never done this before. And even those who have done it before still need to understand that children are different now compared to, like you said, our age group. Our age group could have been, yes, when we had a problem with a bully, it stopped at school. See, now kids go home and they're still bullied online all day, all night because they can't put their phones down. They can't put the iPad down. So no matter what, it's here again. So now your bully messed with you at school. Now you're at home and you figure this is your safe haven. You should be away from all the problems. And the texts are coming in. Ooh, she said X, Y, and Z about your mama. Ooh, they said they gonna do this to you. It's different than with us. And some parents don't get it. You know, a lot of us say, well, okay, well, just put the phone down. Don't ever pick it up. But that's not it's not their generation. They're constantly looking at some type of device, so they can't get away from it. So you have to be able to parent your child correctly to be able to break it down to them that sometimes they need to pull away. Give them other activities, give them other things to do. Monitor their time on the computer, monitor their time on the phone. Sometimes parents need to learn, hey, we need to play Monopoly at home sometimes, just a regular game so that you're not so focused in on that tablet, that video game, or that phone. But these are parenting things that with us, it was like, we didn't have to deal with that. Got bullied at school. I ain't got to deal with that till I go to school the next day. So we had the downtime. That's why you hear about a lot of these young kids that are committing suicide in elementary school, because the bullying just doesn't stop all day long. And parents don't get like, okay, somebody says something about you. You ain't got to worry about that till tomorrow. No, that kid heard about that all night long. And are now scared to go to school in the morning, and you're still looking at you just don't want to go to school. We can offer parenting classes to show parents that this is a real thing. This is different. And sometimes when you explain that to parents, they'll be like, I didn't even realize it. I didn't even think about that.
Can you, one method, like I said, Willie Wilson had a good method. And he said, Uncle Willie,
I know who you're talking about.
what is your crime plan? And he said, well, I would take my belt off and whip some ass. You need an ass whooping. You need an ass whooping. You need an ass whooping. It's funny, but it's so true. And I keep on telling people, maybe I'm wrong. Keep on telling people, Tommy and Tim are different than Tremaine and Laquan.
Definitely.
And sometimes they get out of hand. When you go like in our generation, you get out of hand, that backslap.
You get out of hand, you get a backhand. Right.
Yeah, right.
And you got put in line real quick.
Right.
It wasn't
exactly.
beating. It wasn't child abuse. You got outside of yourself. You got out of a child's place and you had to get put back into a child's place. But from working with parents and children, a lot of times parents look at it like, well, I don't agree with what my parents and grandparents did with me. And I felt like it was too harsh. And I should have been able to speak my mind. I should have been able to say more. And
once they get older, now you wish the same thing while they're in Cook County Jail?
Once again, this goes back to parenting. But parenting that's up to the person. And I get exactly what you're alluding around to. And for some of us, yes, that's how we feel. Not every parent does. But you still need help from other parents to find out what does and what does not work. Sometimes you need a focus group, if you will, to sit down with other parents. Well, how are you handling little Johnny's problem like this? Are they offered? Don't know. But these are things that need to be offered.
Park districts, back in the day, just like the African proverb, Hillary Clinton, it takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
Park District was part of that village. Now it's like, it's not there anymore. You cannot do what you used to do. You can't say, the parent will be like, oh, I'm going to whoop your, you know what, and I'm going to tell your mom, I'm going to whoop your blah, blah, blah. And basically, if Tremaine acts up, yeah, it'd be like, okay. Now you touch my child, you yell at my child, it's on.
But you have to understand where that's coming from. Now, and I can only speak for myself. Working in after school programs, I have been in the unique situation where I can walk into a grade school and I can have kids in my program and I can sit there and look at them. Like, what was your last name again? Such and such. Okay. And you? Such and such. Okay. I already know who that person's mama is. I know his uncle. Once they've heard enough about Mr. J or Mr. Fowler that's at programming with us, and the parents come to pick them up, I'm in the unique situation where I can walk out there to the car. Okay, just trying to make sure you get like, hey, how you been doing? They see you, been like, wait, this the Mr. J? Like, yeah. Hey, get out of line. Holler at him. Take care of him. Talk to me. Does that mean it's okay to lay your hands on a child? No. But does it mean that you have a little extra cushion to make sure you can push on that child just a little bit more? Yes. Because now the child looks like, wait, you know my mama? Like, oh, I know your mama. I know your grandmother. I know everybody in the family. They know me too. You just never saw me at the house.
But some kids would say,
some kids
I don't care if you know my mama or my grandmama. I don't care.
Some are going to try you. You're right. But once again, now that comes down to when you have these other programs, to have the correct staff and staff that's patient and understand how to talk to these kids in these areas.
You can't say, sit down.
Why can't you? Yes, you can, because sometimes that's what they know. That's what they understand. We all know.
And then you got to act crazy. Like,
but that's what they you know how I go. You got to get looking. And you ain't said a word yet, but you done halfway mumbled out enough things that they look and laugh like, whoa, hold on. That sounds like when I'm at home. Like, I'm actually in trouble. Let me sit down and stop playing with you.
Get over there. You over there.
So you can't give empty threat. We're talking about Blackie. You can't give empty threats because you're right. We're in the day and time like, you can't touch me. You can't do nothing to me because you're going to get in trouble. But when they hear you speaking like a parent, like you got kids at home, it's like, oh, hold on. Let me sit down. Mr. J, you almost cussed. Y'all was real close to it. And don't let me be with the high school kids. Oh, when I was with the high school kids, it was like, okay, we just going to cuss and disrespect in the room. Hey, go close the door for me. They go close the door. I need all you little blank, blank, blanks to go blank, 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 blank. Now everybody's eyes are this big, like, oh my God, you're not supposed to talk to us this way. You're absolutely right. I'm not. What am I being? Disrespectful. This is every word I just heard y'all say with me in the classroom. And y'all don't even know who I am yet. This is everything you just did. Is it respectful? No. And that's when I can start pointing out because I know last names. With such and such like that, eyes are big. Wait, how do you know? With such and such agree with you talking like that? Eyes big. Wait a second, Mr. J. How you know my uncle name? Like, right. You never know where you're at. You never know who you're talking to. You never know whose classroom you're in. Let's straighten up and let's everybody be respectful. Open my door back up. Now we're fine. We don't have any problems in the classroom no, because we can relate.
Back in the day when a teacher used to say, close that door, right. And you have that good student to be on the lookout for that principal. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, I
be on the lookout and you say, tell the class, you better not say no more.
Look,
you better not.
We didn't even have that. You were lucky. We didn't have that. Washington Elementary, oh no. My older brothers and cousins had the same teachers I had. So the day I walk into class, they already know me. Like Fowler, wait, hold on.
Some of these teachers,
the twins of this. Oh, okay, I already know you. You sit down over there. You know me because you've been in my backyard playing football. I saw you the other day. You over there. The teachers knew us, so it was different. The teachers, the principal, everybody. It was barely a new teacher that came in.
I had a teacher by the name of Miss Butler. You get out of hand, she throw a shoe at you. If it lands on you,
to this day,
she's like, she was quick with it too.
To this day, we have
that heel used to boomerang and punch out.
Anyone that went to Washington Elementary School between the late 80s, early 90s, they had a teacher, Miss Bush, before she retired. Her last name was Miss Buer. And she was the one that taught us public speaking. There's no such thing as
we learned that at radio broadcast.
Right. That's why I was good at it. Because when I was a kid, my teacher would be standing over my shoulder with a rolled up newspaper. And if you are giving your presentation,
she'll whack you.
If you get stumped, stop. Think about what you're gonna say, then speak. But under no circumstances could you wow. I got my thought together. And that's just what she did. We learned public speaking like that. But It was a teacher. And could she do this all day? Yes. Was she going to get in trouble by a parent? No. Half the parents knew her. Half the parents had her in school. So we were in a different day of time. Can you do that nowadays? No. I mean, I knew teachers that would get people's whoopings with water hoses. That you got a whooping in school. The principal had a paddle. It's a different day of time. By it being a different day of time, and it would be our generation. Since we have a different day and time, we have to parent differently. Sometimes you have to have that group of parents to sit there and talk to learn how to parent differently. One of the programs that can be offered at the Park District. Just a forum to sit down and talk with other parents.
Speaking of park districts, what makes you different from the other commissioner? It sounds like you want to be personable than the other commissioner. Define that.
Well, first off, it's a board. So it's multiple commissioners, not just one. And when it comes down to being on the board, it's just like anything else. It's time for new blood. It's time for new ideas. It's time to shake things up a little bit. When it comes down to being personable, I've been doing it for years, just not on this level. I'm usually boots on the ground. I'm usually in the program with the kids. I'm usually the counselor, the mentor, the coach. I'm here. I'm interacting with the kids. This would be a role where goes, which it would take me more into planning and programming, actually getting the funding and everything together for these programs. So it was just an elevation of what I've been doing for the past 15 years.
Will you be hands-on?
When I can, yes, because that's the fun part. That's
Describe
fun for
that
me.
to us.
I was always a science kid. So I'll go back, like I brought up gardening earlier. If we have a gardening program, which they do have a gardening program now at the Park District, the days they're giving that, I would love to make sure that, yes, we have our seniors and we have our kids there together learning how to garden. I got my own little garden out here too. This is what I do. This is fun for me. I like doing this. These are some of the things I do in my part-time. I'm having fun. I would love to be down there with the kids. I still have a high school student. So when it comes down to the kids playing in the gym, yeah, I can go down there and talk crazy. Okay, cool. I got y'all. I'm in here with y'all. I ain't that old. They got me for about 10 minutes. I know my limitations. I can back off them and just step back into the role of, hey, listen to your coach. If your coach ain't in here right now, you pay attention to this a little bit more. You do that. Mr. J, Mr. Fowler, whichever they call me. I got a bunch of different names people call me. You act like you're a coach. Well, I did coach for a while. Matter of fact, remember I coached your older brother. Like, oh, you were in his program. Like, right, do this. Bang, 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 bang. This is how we going to do this. Cool. I like being hands-on. Hands-on is fun. But when you've been hands-on for so long, you've always been stopped by red tape. You get tired of bumping your head up against the wall with red tape. It's time for me to get past the red tape and be the person to make sure things are happening so that when that counselor who was a younger Jeff Fowler is like, man, we're really trying to do this program. I got you. We're getting the funding together. We got the grant wrote up. We're sending it off. We are trying to get the money for your program. We love your idea. We want to put that together. We want to offer that here at the Park District. I got you. We're going to make it happen. It's time for me to step into that role and let somebody else be the one that's playing with the kids a little bit more, if you will. But that don't mean I'm not going down there with them. We're going to have fun.
You mentioned etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned other programs that you'll bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be open to suggestions?
Of course. On my Facebook page already, a lot of times, and this is no slight to anyone else, a lot of times candidates for any public office come in and they say everything they want to do. I'm going to do. I put a poll up. What do you want from your park district? What do you want to see in your park district? Let me know. Give me ideas. I can't think of everything. The board can't think of everything. Let us know. What do the people want? What do the seniors want? What do the kids want? What do you want for your kids? What do you, as the parents, if you will, What do you want to see at the Park District? So yeah, I'm all into that. Suggestions, please give them. We need them. We need to know because we are catering to the village. So yeah, if it's something they feel like they're missing, yes, bring it to me. Let me know. And we'll see what we can do. We'll try to put that program in. If we can find a grant for it, no problem. We got the funding for it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
You have a radio background,
Yes.
and I am shocked. And you know where I'm going now. Why you haven't mentioned a radio program or a podcast in Maywood Park District?
Now, see, that's for those who know me, that's actually something I offered years ago that once again, that's funding. Funding comes in for that. For what's that? If I was in school with you in 98, that means from 97 to I'll just say the early 2000s, I helped manage a small sound studio out in Maywood. And yes, I offered classes and field trips were done when it came down to some of the high school students. When they needed field trips, they would come into the sound lab and I would show them how to record music. How not so much, you know how it is when the kids hear music like, I don't want to learn how to play an instrument because that's not what I listen to. Yeah, I brought kids in. I showed them how to digitally record music. Let them do their own little songs. That comes with funding. That comes with a grant. To have a room set up, and you're absolutely right, like the rooms we've worked in the past, to have a radio room set up, and the kids who want to get in the radio, here you go. To have a small recording lab set up, here are future singers, our future sound engineers. Here you go. You can learn it. And but all of the people that we know, some people they love to give back. They would love to hear, man, it's a program you're doing that. Yeah, I'm doing that. Hey, I'm there. I got such and such days off. If we can make these classes on this day, I'll be there to teach the kids everything I know. Once again, that comes with funding.
Why not? And I said this on my show yesterday. Why not dig up Lou Rawls
Not dig.
and have a telethon or a fundraiser or something? It's because you know what you're up against.
True.
The Trump administration.
True.
You're talking about a lot of red tape. Now you're going to have a lot of federal red tape. Where are you going to get the money now?
Well, like you said, no one's ever opposed to fundraisers. And in our situation, it would be ideal to have a fundraiser because we already have a facility. So yeah, things like that can be done, but these are things that, to the best of my knowledge, are not being done. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Even if what was the let me think, what was the old fundraiser that we would do? Even as simple as a cotillion, a small cotillion, what they used to call with our parents, they were the Tom Thumb weddings. There are little things where you can actually, right, you can raise money for awareness in the Park District for certain programs, talent shows. Let's see how many kids in the area like to sing. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm not going to announce it. So yeah, let's have 7 different kids. And each one of you all, you're going to announce a different act coming out. Let's see who all is in the public speaking. Let's see who all has that voice for radio. Yeah, it's nothing to do it. It's just that, like you said earlier, these are suggestions. When you bring them to us, we do them. Now, can it happen? Yeah, we don't have to dig up Lou Rawls. We can leave Lou Rawls where he at. But can we put on situations? Yes. Even when it comes down to the wind down Wednesdays that the Park District has been doing, they actually do pass around the collection plate, if you will, to help with the football teams that the Park District is funding. So it's there. It happens. It can happen. It's been happening. It's not a big thing. It's just about execution. That's it.
All right. So please give intellectualradio.com/iHeartRadio station your punch number, how they can get in contact with you, need volunteers, so forth and so on.
All right, now, Jeffrey Fowler, Jeffrey C. Fowler. My mother told me to use my whole name. Going for Park District Commissioner. I could be reached at JC Fowler 357. I'm sorry, no, I said that completely wrong. Wrong place. Bow. Let me make sure I do it right. It's vote for, VOTE number 4, JC Fowler at gmail.com. You can leave me any information there. If you need to get information over to me, what else you need me to tell them about?
Just a little bit more. Just
up for election on April 1st for Park District Commissioner. Early voting is 17th. Yep. It is the 17th of this month. Actual voting will be April the 1st. April Fool's Day. No, for those of you who know me, know this is real. I am going up for an actual elected official. So this is not a joke. Preston, he's hit me 3 or 4 times to see if this is an actual joke. He thought we were playing around with it.
Yeah.
Please come out, vote. If you're no longer, for those who are no longer in the Maywood area, you have family out here, you have someone you know out here, have them come out and vote, have them register. If you go to my Facebook page, on my Facebook page, I actually have a link there for you to register to vote online if you need to. If you're not in the area, get your family. Let grandma and them know Lil Jeff is running. But for me, for anybody else, just vote. Vote, get out here, let people know that you care. Let people know that you actually care about what goes on, not just in the Park District, but in local government, period.
All right. I'm kind of shocked you didn't even tell a Roman story.
I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to. I said I wasn't going to do it to you on my way here. Like, I'm not going to give a Roman story.
No, and I'm glad you didn't. We finished the hour without a Columbia College Roman story.
They're not ready for that. They're not ready for that.
Thanks, buddy. You're more than welcome to come back, okay?
I appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for us on the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. Yes, I have a surprise on the 31st. On the 31st, my buddy, and I've been trying my best, and I finally got her, Jean Sparrow, will be here on the Drive at 5. So stay tuned for that. Thanks to Wanda, our executive producer, Earl behind the scenes. You guys have a wonderful week.